My first 1 to 3 years I was like fearful the whole time and scared. And, I was 13 years old, like talking to 40-year-olds about their house. But, if someone at home is thinking the same thing, just understand it does get better. It really does. And if you're older, that it won't be 1 to 3 years. It'll be 3 to 6 months and you'll start gaining that confidence and the momentum.
Welcome to Jobbers Masters of Home Service, a podcast for home service pros by home service pros. We are in sunny Las Vegas. Today we are talking about how to thrive as a new business. Part 2, marketing and customer service. We have 2 great guests today, Shanique Stewart and Chase Gallagher. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm Shanique. I own a cleaning business in the greater Toronto area. And I also help those who want to start and grow a cleaning business. So if you do want to check me out, then you want to search Shanique Stewart, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram.
Great.
I'm Chase Gallagher. I own CMG Landscaping in the suburbs of Philadelphia. And I also teach and coach home service business owners how to scale past the $1 million mark. You guys can get access to that at my Instagram at Chase_Gallagher_.
Great. I'm glad you guys are both here. Let's get into it a little bit. So we're talking about marketing first. One of the most important things, as you guys know about marketing, is marketing to the right people. You don't want to bark up the wrong tree. And so you have to know who you're marketing to. How should our listeners in that first year go about identifying who they're really their target demographic? Who's our ideal customer? How would you guide our listeners in that process?
I would honestly say you are looking for clients that will pay for your service, especially when it comes to cleaning. It's a luxury service. You want to look for people that can identify that cleaning services in their lifestyle is a need, a necessity, and they see it at so. So typically you're looking for areas that are working class, maybe a working mother, working father. They're in a need for cleaning because they're busy, and they obviously have an income to sustain the cleaning services. So you really want to make sure that you're in a neighborhood, a populated area to do so.
Yeah, I think a 2-income household is crucial. And I think, what I teach a lot of my students is focus on what you're putting out there. All my branding, all my students' branding, we're not putting free estimates in anything because I don't want to attract people that want free stuff. So there's little nuances throughout my marketing that I teach that kind of attract the right clientele.
That's great. Let's dig into this a little bit deeper. What else do our listeners need to do to make sure that they're attracting the right people and making sure their marketing's correct? Any other tips on that?
I would say you need to identify who you want to work with first. Because if you're just going to starting a business and just getting any and everyone, I made the mistake. I started to realize that there's certain clients that I was working with produced headache, late payments, and then I quickly realized this is the type of person that I do not want to work with. And if you are documenting your business correctly, you get to realize like someone who doesn't have a certain job or someone who, when you're on those conversations, they are automatically asking for a discount or could you work with me on this way? You need to, with a strong positive back and say, no, we actually do not. And the right client is going to be okay with that because they need the service. And I truly believe that when Chase mentioned like marketing and saying the right things in your marketing, whether that be your social media, your advertisement, making sure that the words that you're saying is supposed to attract the right people. So if you want to attract luxury people that desire cleaning service, then say we are a luxury service that are looking to work with people that could genuinely see value in cleaning service. And don't be ashamed to say that. That's how you attract the right people.
I'm really curious, Shanique, are most of your clients women?
Majority of our long-term clients, yes, they're returning clients that are women, mothers, have children, they're working, and majority of them, yeah.
That matters.
Yeah.
You're not marketing to men.
Yeah.
You're marketing to women. Are most of them between 30 and 50 years old?
Majority, are late 30s into their late 50s, and then we have some senior clients that they just don't want to clean, so they need the recurrent clean.
That matters. You're marketing to women who probably have kids, who probably are busy. That really matters. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about making sure that you can be that specific with your marketing. And so when you create a flyer, for example, you might have some flowery language on there and some more feminine colors. All that kind of stuff matters, right, Chase?
100%. Like in our marketing, I just said no free estimates. And when I'm online, I'm promoting, experienced team members. I'm promoting, 5-star experience. I post my reviews. I only want to attract people that want that experience. I don't want to talk about, oh, we're cheaper here and this is the less expensive thing. None of that is in my marketing.
Yeah, 100%. For me, with both my businesses, it's right down the middle. It's like 48, 49% or whatever the math is, men and women. I can't really go one way or another on that, but pretty much all my demographic cares about competency. They want to know that whoever they hire to cut their grass or do their gutters is competent. And so you can build that into the language of your marketing. And so your Google ads or your flyers or your yard signs, all those kinds of things, your vehicle wraps and your uniforms, all those kinds of things can really pitch that idea like, oh, this company is trustworthy because they're competent. They have all these five-star reviews, or their technicians have, X amount of experience on average, 7 years of experience on average, all that kind of stuff can go into marketing to the exact person that you want to market to.
Right.
Literally, how can our listeners, we know who our target market is, but our listeners need to figure it out. Should they sit down with a pen and paper, like trial and error?
So here's one thing I want to say to this. It's not always who you think it is, right? Most of our clients are dual income, but like I've walked into someone's, on someone's property, and let's say they own a $300,000 house and they spend 35 grand with me on putting on a boulder wall. And I've gone into a, $2 million house and they don't want to spend $1,800 on the mulching. So it's a game that you got to play, and it's more about the person and less about like the type of house or something like that.
Yeah, that's true. So at least if I understand, when you said it's not about the person, it's understanding their needs. And if you could talk to that need, then you can sell that person. It doesn't matter what the price is. Right. So if they want the good experience, if they want the competent individual, then they're going to pay the price because they understand that. And I like when you said, when it comes to your marketing and being able to kind of showcase who that is, you kind of be able to track that person. So like on our flyers, we have like a picture of a family, or, we tend to like to work with offices. So we will then show offices on our
right, residential versus commercial
on our advertisement. But then as someone who's just starting, how do you know that? And I think that the easiest way is just to get into a neighborhood where there's money. And I like to say, like, you find a neighborhood that has a Whole Foods, that has private daycares, like start there. And then what Chase said, then as you go, you work with the different clients, you realize that when I work with this client, they say these things. So now I know how to kind of determine who my ideal client going on, further and further. Not to say you're going to kind of deter other kinds of people, but that your best clients do and say these things. And then you start being able to build marketing strategy according to that.
Yeah.
Chase, I think you hit something that I really like, which is it may not be who you think. And so actually, I like to think about it in terms of let's get 10 clients and then see what our target market is.
Right.
Like who was attracted to us? So let's forward the hands of time ahead a little bit. How do our listeners get, we're talking about thriving the first year of business. How do they get their first 10 clients?
Here's some tactical advice that I would do. Make a selfie or get a picture of your work or whatnot. Go do a job for a family member. Go into 10 different local Facebook groups, post a picture of yourself, maybe your team, a project you do, your services, and your phone number. Do that 10 Facebook groups. That's a free thing that just takes your time. Flyers, you can maybe get a family member to print them out. A networking group, there's a lot of free, like we talked about BNI. There's other free groups other than that. And it's very simple when you think about it. Relationships is what produces revenue. So my whole thing, I boil it down. It's like, how can I meet more people in my local area? And I know that I'm not looking for a check from that person 3 months, maybe 6 months, but like 12 months down the road, they'll spend money with me. In my BNI group, I knew this veterinarian and I knew her for 3 years. And on the 4th year, she spent $150,000 with me. It's just how it goes.
Yeah, 100%. And when you mentioned the Facebook group and you mentioned sending a picture of your face, huge mistake is, especially in the cleaning industry, is just putting a flyer and saying, this is all the service that I provide. Everyone does that. But if they know who you are, relationship is such a huge thing. I could completely testify to that. And doing business with business. So if you are your first year, you think you don't know anyone, but you have a mother, you have a father, sister, brother, workplace, coworkers. Tell them about your business and offer your services in some way, in some form. You get your hair done, your nails done for the girls, or you go get a barbershop. Tell them, I have a business. I recently did like a photo shoot with someone and said, hey, I love your studio. I actually have a cleaning service business. Would you mind if I, offer services there? And there you go. That's another client right there.
A huge thing I want to add to this is what I teach my students at CMG University. People aren't going to buy from me because of how I lay a paver. People, especially on my Instagram, people are buying from me because they know me. They're seeing me on my stories every day.
They like you.
Exactly. People buy from people. So the more you can promote that, especially as a small local business, we're not Apple, right? We're local businesses. So get your face out there as much as possible.
Our listeners are getting their feet wet. They're getting some clients. They're putting the flyers out, putting their yard signs out. They're doing the Facebook groups. How big of a service radius should they serve in those early days? What do you guys think about that?
With yourself. If you can't drive out, don't do it, because you still need to be able to provide good services. So if you're driving out, like, or even your team, if you can't do over 100 kilometers, just don't do it. Like, wherever you could make the best impact, then do so, because we just don't want to underlook the amazing people around us just because I can get business in Windsor. And if you're in Toronto, that's a huge thing when it comes to cleaning. If you can successfully do that, then by all means. But I love to kind of concentrate in the Greater Toronto, Vaughan area, and just love my community, because again, when you do the business with people, they're going to tell their friends and family they're typically in the same area.
So two things there. Like, if you're in the lawn care business, right, your route is your money maker, right? So if you can stick to it and focus on these neighborhoods, and that's where you're going to make your money when it takes you 60 seconds to go to the next lawn. In my business, the project-based business, we have to travel a little bit more because it's project-based, but we do 45 minutes. The most we'll do is about an hour to a job site.
Okay, yeah. I think in the early days, the mindset should be to shoot BBs, not cannonballs. Shoot BBs and then cannonballs. What I mean by that is testing out some service radius ideas. Like, maybe take that client that's a little bit further out than you, makes you feel comfortable, and see how it goes. And you might discover, yeah, I don't want to go out that far in the future. And if you're only shooting BBs, it's not that big of a deal to like say, hey, Mr. Client, we're not going to renew you next year. Sorry about that. But if you go out and you don't want to just bite off more than you can chew in those early days, so put out some buy 10 yard signs. Don't buy 1,000, get 10, see if it works, change the font, buy 10 more. And so I like the idea of getting 10 clients and then saying, you know what are some similarities in these clients? Are they double income, no kids? Do they have kids? Are they older? Are they younger? Who are these? Are they students? Like, who are they? And then you can make your next 50 and then your next 100, and you kind of let your clients tell you who they are instead of just deciding who you're going after. And so it all goes back to testing and like shooting BBs. And then once you figure out which yard sign works, which flyer got the best results, then you can print off 10,000 of them and then go big.
I totally agree. And I think that even when I work with my clients, they think that their first mess up is the end all be all, where you mentioned everything was a learning process. Everything was to observe and find out what works better. That's it. Next to better, finding better clients, marketing better, selling better, connecting better. That's the name of the game. That should actually excite us, especially being that business owner. I personally love it.
This is a great conversation. I do want to pause for a minute and talk about Jobber. How does Jobber help you stay at the top of your industry? Chase, what do you think?
So it keeps us organized as business owners. As we just discussed, my competition can't even return a phone call, right? So if I'm organized, I have my client data, I have my follow-up set, right? Jobber does automatic follow-up. I'm separating myself from the competition. The ROI on investing in a software is a no-brainer, just like Jobber.
Yeah, no, keeping that communication, that connection with your client is a huge deal. Having the ability to do that email, texting is amazing when it comes to, being on the road, my team, and making sure that I'm keeping updated with the time, the processes with all our booking appointments is amazing with Jobber.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the communication is top notch and Jobber makes it easy. So new users can get an exclusive discount at jobber.com/podcast deal. If you get Jobber today, you will instantly be in the top tier in your market. So go get started today. What are some innovative ways for our listeners to showcase their uniqueness? Maybe they have a special service that isn't really common in their neighborhood, or maybe they are just very unique in whatever way. How can they go about expressing that and really marketing that to their clients so it doesn't just stay hidden?
Well, I would say that, there's a million landscapers in my county. What makes me different or unique is me and my team member. That's really like my team. So that's the only difference. Every landscaper can go buy Teco block pavers. So I think it goes back to, number one, promoting your customer experience. We have over 136 5-star reviews on our Google page. Like, we're the most reviewed landscaping company in my county. So I promote that. I promote myself, my team members, and that's what makes you unique, unless you guys have another.
No, I totally agree. And the word innovative, when you're starting, you're thinking, what kind of special ways can I do certain things? And it actually can get you stuck. Versus understanding that you are the difference, you are the decision maker, you are the person, you stand out as much as possible. And if you are just starting out, you may not have the work experience. I have people reach out to me like, what if I've never cleaned before? But you've worked before, right? And what has your previous boss said? Then if it's like you always showed up on time, then you're gonna hire cleaning services that always shows up on time, and that's all that's all you had to go ahead and run with it. And the more when you get your clients, you get to understand what they like about you and start marketing that way.
Yeah.
But you are the main event when you're first starting out.
I also think that our clients can be our biggest fans, our raving fans. And so we can spend so much time in constructing the best flyer and the best Facebook post for the groups and all these things. And we neglect on how to coach our clients to rave about us. And so, for example, on the phone, our CSR will say at the end, after we've booked a call, say, hey, you're going to love your technicians. And they're your technicians. They're not our technicians. They're your technicians. They're friendly, professional, and they know what they're doing. So what do you think happens when they write a 5-star review? Man, oh gosh, our technicians they're friendly and they're professional and they knew what they were doing because we gave them the words to explain us. And that's what makes us unique. And so I think that we have to focus, and I wish I'd done this from day one, is like coach your clients in a really casual way. Like, hey, when you talk to your neighbors, what would you say about us?
Yeah.
And they'll tell you. And then when they see their neighbor that night putting the trash can out, they're like, hey, by the way, who was at your house today? Oh, that was Gutter Pros, and they were awesome. And then they'll regurgitate what you coached them through. And so use your client base to really promote your unique selling proposition because it's free. It's really effective. How did you make your customer service really strong that first year? And how do we help our listeners do the same thing?
You mentioned it. You said, listen to your clients. Obviously, when you don't have a client, you're going to think to yourself, how would I want to be treated? Go ahead and provide the best. But then as you are going and working with a client, the client's going to say, hey, did you remember that you cleaned over here? Did you touch here? Make sure that you're out by 9 because I have this. Understand that they are literally telling you how they want to be treated. And then you can use that with your other clients. So then you kind of can tell your other clients if certain clients do have a time frame regarding to when to go out, then you could let them know in advance if that's something that you could do or you cannot do. But your clients will literally let you know how they want to be treated. I have students that would ask me, what cleaning products do I use? Like, how do I show up? Your clients are going to tell you. And I think that doing walkthroughs before and after and giving them the opportunity to say, hey, was there anything that was missed? Is there anything you need me to do? Asking those questions will give you the answer so that you can go ahead and reproduce that in your other clients. Like, it's so simple.
Yeah, totally.
So 2 things, the biggest things as far as customer service goes in my business. Number 1, if someone's calling your phone, you need to answer it. If it's not you, get a call center. That's what I do. Call center comes in, we get an email of all the details, and either myself or my assistant calls them right back. So the second thing is speed. My competition, landscapers, aren't calling people back the first day. Sometimes they don't even get a call back. 80, 90% of my clients go with us because no one else called them back, right? So that's where we talk about the opportunity in home service business. It's all over the place. Right. So yeah, speed. And then when you're on the phone with clients, speak with confidence. I know it's hard in the beginning because you don't get your realm in, but I'm trying to figure out who I sound like over the phone. Like I'm trying to give a good analogy and I can't, but it's just like I'm upbeat. They can see my smile through the phone and I'm asking what they do. And I say with 100% certainty, we can definitely help you out with that.
If Masters of Home Service has been a game changer for you and your business, then we want to hear from you. Go leave us a review and tell us what you think. Help us build this community and level up together.
I am curious if you guys have any good little stories from the past. I am thinking about customer service starts on that first phone call. And I think that speed matters a lot. I also think just understanding the client's problem. They called you with a problem that they want to solve. And the client who solves that problem the best wins. And it's not about the service that you do at that client's house. It's the perception of how well you're going to solve that problem for them. Mike Michalowicz, I love this. He said, ask your clients what you did well, like after the visit is over. Like ask them, hey, what did you like today? And then after they tell you, that's all that matters, and do that 10 times better in the future. I just love that quote from him. So I'm curious if you guys have any stories of customer service that you guys, from the past, maybe the first year, that could inspire some listeners. Anything that comes to mind? Just some way that you went above and beyond.
Yeah, I mean, there was one situation. This is what owning a business is. But we did this whole project for this client in the fall time. Redid his whole backyard. They moved into this big house from a townhouse, and it was New Year's Eve. I was sitting in my TV room with my family, and we did a bunch of drainage work on this thing. And him and his wife were in this group chat, and they're texting me like, "Our basement's flooding, da 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 da," like going off. And so I remember at the time I had like a couple pieces aside. It was either Thanksgiving or New Year's Eve, and I went out there. It's 10:30 at night, and I pull my truck up. I don't even respond to them. I'm just out there like putting like pieces aside down in the yard to like regrade the yard. And I do all this. We catch up the next couple of days where, they're upset. And then we go out the next rainstorm. I bring my project manager, and we literally look at the issue. It was a gutter problem. So
classic.
Just because I was on the job site doing my own project, they went off on me about this drainage thing, and the husband like apologized immediately and all this stuff. But that's sometimes you get blamed for stuff in business that you didn't even do or cause. And sometimes you just got to get it done and produce a happy client and keep moving.
Nice. I would say regarding having like phone conversations, and you said making sure that you understand your client needs. Typically in our industry, you just ask generic questions. How big is the home, the square footage, the property? When's the last time you had professional cleaning? But less likely do you have questions in regarding what's the location. Oh, I have a wedding. Okay, congratulations. Who's getting married? Like literally going deeper and deeper so that you get on a personal level, so that when you are looking to reincur, they just got married, going to a new home. Well, I know you have a full-time job. Do you think that having biweekly clean would make sense to you? Because I know like you're newlywed, you want to enjoy your husband. Like, come on, having that conversation, but you would not be able to pitch it that way if you didn't have those questions. So that's going to stand out. I remember having a conversation with a client, and it was an easy recurring turnaround because she was able to open up that both her sons had special needs. And if I didn't ask why the occasion, the state of the home, she opened up that I'm not able to keep up because both my sons are special needs. When we did the deep clean, we were able to, on a sentimental level, say, hey, I know it's going to be hard for you. We could definitely set you up with a biweekly clean. And she was more than happy. She was more than happy to pay our prices way more than she expected. But because we cared, we understand, and we act like proactively, we were able to close that client.
That's great. Yeah. How has the customer service journey for your companies changed over the years? How has it improved? I'm curious if you guys look back year one and think, man, it sure is better now. What makes it better?
Systems and processes. In the beginning, they would call my business phone, it would go to voicemail, and then I'd call them back, or I was running around doing a bunch of things. It'd be the next day or the day after that. And now I just have structure, right? We do our estimates Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we're going to book all of our estimates those 2 days. We have a call center, and then we have software like Jobber that sends them review links. I want that review. I'm following it. So those 3 or 5 things is what changed.
Okay, real quick. What happens? I have to ask. I know our listeners are wondering too. A client says, I just can't meet you on Tuesday and Thursday. What do you do?
We get
So
that.
curious.
We do. And in the springtime, like we do so many estimates that I do adjust it, and exactly. There's always like a little teeter totter over the phone. Like, well, I work full time. Was like, dude, like, yeah. So we do adjust it, or you just go to the next week. All right. Well, what does your schedule look like the next week? Can you work from home that day or, and I want that mutual respect because they're calling us for something. And like some people try to be like, oh, well, just go walk it and let me know. No. We're not showing up to your house unless you're there and you're going to walk the property with us.
Awesome.
Right. In addition to the CRM system, like mental fatigue is a huge thing. I just wanted to deter the ability to not have to overthink. So if you have a system, a process for every event in your business, it's just going to help so much more. Instead of like letting your clients kind of run the show, you need to have a frame, have a system to bring every single client through every single time. So it becomes like a machine over and over again, or else you're going to be thinking, okay, how did I do with so-and-so client? Or how did I do with this client, another client? Then you're just going to become overwhelmed and fatigued. You need to have a process for each event in your business. That's helped.
I love that. If you're fatigued, your clients will be fatigued.
Oh, 100%.
It carries through. If you stink, they'll stink. That's so true. I would say for us, from year one to now, is we've fully integrated Company Cam into our business, since we take a lot of photos on site. Clients can't see the gutter, so that's kind of necessary for us. And now it's structured so that the technicians send that link every visit. And so the part of the system is clients get that link. They can just go through their whole gallery of photos, and it's all systematized. We weren't doing that year one. I kind of wish we had, but we are doing that now. So companies do get better. That's part of why the marketplace is so awesome. Companies learn and evolve. And so that's awesome. Any other final thoughts on that first year in business for our listeners around customer service and marketing? Any other final thoughts for them?
I want to say that my first 1 to 3 years I was like fearful the whole time and scared. And I was 13 years old, like talking to 40-year-olds about their house. But if someone at home is thinking the same thing, just understand it does get better. It really does. And if you're older, that it won't be 1 to 3 years. It'll be 3 to 6 months, and you'll start gaining that confidence and the momentum.
So my biggest advice is to take care of the clients that you do have. I understand we do want the next client, but trust me, so much more could come from this one client. The reviews, the referrals, just like having a learning experience in itself. You don't want to have a nightmare client. If you, like you said, if you're mentally fatigued, you got to bring it to your clients. They're going to be stressed out, but you understanding that you want to give the best experience to them. You understand what's the good and the bad, so you can bring it to your next, but cherish those clients that you do have.
That's great advice. Shanique, Chase, this was a great conversation. I'm going to sum it up in 3 actionable steps here. Number 1 is good clients want to do things your way. And so if you have a client who's really creating a lot of friction for you, you want to be careful with them. Good clients will agree to all of your terms, deposits, contracts, and they'll want to do it your way. Number 2 is stick to a small service radius. Don't spread yourself too thin. With one exception, if you do take a client in the very beginning, make sure you charge enough to justify the drive. Number 3 is answer the phone. If you're mowing grass, turn the engine off, hello, and make sure it's professional, but answer the phone. If you can't answer, get a call answering service, do something. If you do, you'll beat like 90% of the competition if you answer the darn phone. Any thoughts on that?
And don't forget BNI. BNI is a business networking group that meets weekly on a weekly basis. And basically what you do is you're in a mastermind, so to speak. You go there, you have breakfast, you stand up, you give a 60-second commercial. But the arbitrage or the leverage in these types of rooms is that you're meeting with 40, 50 business owners every single week in our communities who knows everyone, right? Is business owners. So, and they're on residential properties, right? They're talking to your ideal client every single day. So BNI was a great strategy I used for 2 years. You have to be there every single week. You only get 3 absences. And really the secret, it's not, you can go to BNI, you can go to any networking group. You just got to show up with a smile and talk and have conversations with people. It's the easiest thing.
Bingo.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, I want a final marketing hack from you guys. Shanique, give our listeners a really good hack for marketing that they can do today.
My Business Google. That's free, simple. You need to use the engine software Google to get your business out there. My Business Google. Get it.
Bingo.
So I don't know if you stole mine, but is that the same thing as your Google your business Google profile?
Your profile on Google.
Okay,
yeah.
So I was gonna say the same thing, but you stole that. But once you have that set up, it's a combo. Like Google is one lead source of my business, right? So you have your profile, you have a solid website connected to that, and then you have all the reviews. The more reviews you have and what your clients say in those reviews is gonna bump you up. And reviews is something, it's free for a new business owner that might not have a ton of cash to ask his clients. So stack those Google reviews up and you will see the ROI.
I would say really, really flashy uniforms. It's a good little hack. It's not that expensive and it goes a long way. So guys, this was fantastic. Thanks for being here. How do people find out more about you? Shanique?
Yeah, so you can catch me on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at Shanique Stewart. And if you want to start and grow your cleaning business, then be sure to check out and join the Cleaning Boss Accelerator course.
Guys, I help home service business owners just like yourself every single day grow and scale their business. You guys can get access to my program, CMG University, on my Instagram, Chase_Gallagher_.
Great. Well, guys, I really appreciate you guys being here. Your insights were really good. I think our listeners in their first year of business got a lot out of this. So thanks for being here. Keep having a strong impact on your communities. Keep teaching, keep growing your businesses, and keep making it happen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adam.
And thank you for listening. I hope you heard something that will make your business more profitable and more efficient. I'm your host, Adam Sylvester. You can find me at adamsylvester.com. Your team and your clients deserve your very best, so go give it to them.